Good morning, everyone. If you'd like to take your seats, and we'll bring this to order. All right, good morning, everybody. It is 8:38 on Wednesday, April 8th, and a quorum is present. The Minnesota Senate Education Finance Committee will now come to order. We are going to hear two bills. We're going to hear a bill from Senator Pappas, Senate File 4038, and then we will hear my bill, Senate File 5000. We hit that 5,000 mark, folks. But first, I want to just give a shout out to our library. You may take your seats. Go ahead. Shout outs to our library media specialists. Last Friday was Library Media Specialist Day, and as you know, they are very near and dear to my heart, as I was a library media specialist for 20 years in public schools. Just want to remind folks of the value of having these library media specialists in your school. Not only are we instructional partners, but we teach information literacy and digital research skills. Collaborating with teachers and staff and administration was a big part of my job. And of course, in these days when we are talking about literacy and how we improve our reading skills and broaden literacy availability, library media specialists are very instrumental in bringing technology and library materials into our lessons in our classrooms, as well as the joy of reading. So to all those library media specialists out there and librarians, I just want to give you a shout out and thank you for all your good hard work. So now we are going to start with Senate File 4038. Senator Pappas, welcome to our committee. The intention is to lay Senate File 4038 over for possible inclusion in a future omnibus bill. And Senator Swedzinski, would you be so kind as to move the Senate File 4038 before the committee?
So moved.
Thank you very much. And Senator Pappas, you have an A1 amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have the A1 amendment, author's amendment.
Okay. All those in favor of the A1 amendment, say aye. Oh, excuse me. Senator Clark, would you like to move the A1?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you. With that, any questions? No, seeing none. All those in favor of adopting the A1, please say yes. Aye. Yes, aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. And Senator Pappas, to your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I'm presenting a bill today that provides School District 197 with limited flexibility to use existing funds that are currently restricted to internal air quality projects. The bill allows the district to use those funds for broader capital needs up to a cap of $4.5 million, and that was in the amendment. This proposal does not raise taxes or require additional state funding. It simply allows the district to make more effective use of resources that have already been approved by voters. With me today is Dr. Peter Olsen-Skog, Superintendent of District 197, and Brian Schulitz, the district's Director of Finance, will briefly speak to the need for this flexibility and its financial impact. I'll turn it over to Dr. Olsen-Skog.
All right. If you would be so kind as to state your name for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Dr. Peter Olsen-Skog, and I serve as the Superintendent of School District 197 in West St. Paul, Mendota Heights, and Eagan area schools. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of this bill. Several years ago, our community approved funding for internal air quality improvements in our schools. Those projects were important, and I want to begin by being very clear that work is complete. We have delivered on what we promised our voters. The projects were completed as scoped, and the environment in our schools are the better because of it. As a result of strong project management and favorable bidding conditions, we now have a remaining balance from that work. Under current law, those dollars are restricted to a specific category of future projects. This bill provides a limited and practical solution by allowing us to use a portion of those existing dollars, up to $4.5 million, for broader capital needs across the district. I also want to emphasize that we have been very transparent with our community about this request that we are making of the legislation. We have shared our intent to pursue this flexibility at our annual legislative meeting. We've discussed it at multiple public school board meetings, and we've raised it at multiple additional community conversations. The feedback we've received was consistently supportive and reflected a clear understanding of the core idea. That is about using existing resources responsibly after completing the work the voters approved. This is not about expanding what was approved. It is about making thoughtful use of what remains. It also does not raise taxes and does not require additional state funding. I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much for Superintendent. And next we have Director of Finance, Brian Schultz. If you'd state your name for the record and you may begin.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. My name is Brian Schultz, and I am the Serving Director of Finance for District 197. As Dr. Olson-Skog shared, the district has a verified remaining balance of approximately $4.5 million following the completion of our indoor air quality projects. I want to reinforce that this balance is not the result of reducing the scope or leaving work unfinished. The projects were completed as planned. The remaining funds are the result of competitive bidding and careful management of project costs. Under current statutes, these dollars are restricted and may only be used for a specific category of internal air quality projects. This bill allows the district to apply these same funds to other capital needs, improving how we align available resources with current priorities across our facilities. From a financial perspective, I want to be clear of what this proposal does and does not do. It does not increase taxes, it does not generate new revenue, and it does not create additional costs for the state. It simply provides flexibility in how existing voter-approved dollars are used. From a financial management standpoint, the flexibility allows us to make more timely and efficient use of those resources while continuing to meet the needs of our buildings and students. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Superintendent. And then our last testifier is Laura Oaksnevad from the School Board Association. Thank you and welcome. If you'd like to state your name for the record, and you may begin.
Chair Kunesh and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Laura Oaksnevad, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Minnesota School Boards Association, the Association of Metro School Districts, the Minnesota Association of School Administrators, and the Minnesota Association of School Business Officials. We appreciate Senate File 4038, and we fully support its provisions granting West St. Paul-Mendota Heights-Eagan Public Schools permanent authority to transfer balances from its building construction fund to the reserved account for operating capital in the general fund. This bill reflects a practical response to real financial challenges facing school districts. At the same time, we also respectfully urge the legislature to expand its authority statewide. School districts across Minnesota, both Metro and Greater Minnesota, are grappling with similar fiscal pressures. Inflation, fluctuating enrollment, rising operational costs, and increasing demands for student services are forcing school boards to make difficult ongoing budget decisions. The need for flexibility reflected in Senate File 4038 is not unique to one school district. Addressing this issue one district at a time places an unnecessary burden on the legislature. Uniform statewide policy would bring consistency, fairness, and efficiency to state law. Expanding the provisions of Senate File 4038 statewide would recognize that locally elected school boards are best positioned to make responsible fiscal decisions responsive to community needs. And importantly, this approach does not increase state aid obligations and does not raise local property tax levies. Instead, it allows districts to manage existing resources more effectively during periods of financial strain. Minnesota has long acknowledged the need for limited flexibility in times of disruption, including COVID, district reorganizations, and other targeted authorizations. Senate File 4038 follows that same precedent. Expanding it statewide simply applies that principle consistently across all districts. Most importantly, statewide expansion allows school boards to focus on stability and continuity for students, rather than returning repeatedly to the legislature for one-off solutions as financial conditions evolve. In closing, we support Senate File 4038 and respectfully ask the legislature to strengthen this bill by extending fund transfer authority to all Minnesota school districts. This approach promotes fairness, accountability, and sound financial stewardship while enabling districts to continue serving students and communities effectively. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions or comments? Go ahead, Senator Hellstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for the superintendent. One of my schools in my district is actually considering or requesting to do this exact same thing. And they have done a lot of public meetings about this, that the public is aware that they want to make this fund transfer and they're comfortable with it. They understand that even if they were to end the levy early, there would be almost no significant return, and the community supports that. Have you had similar conversations within your community?
Superintendent?
We have, Senator.
Senator follow-up?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Kroon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Will this require an affirmative vote by the school board with full transparency and accountability if the legislature approves this?
And who would like to answer that one? Superintendent?
I'm quite certain the school board would be happy to take a vote on it. I am not 100% sure whether the statute would require it or not.
Senator Kroon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that would be a good and wise decision by the school board. In fact, I think it should be mandatory and probably should be in this bill that in order to actually implement the policy, the school board would need to take an affirmative vote on a regular agenda with full notice to the public.
Any comments? Go ahead, Superintendent.
I won't speak to the mandatory part, as that's the purview of the legislation. I will state from a school board perspective, I'm fully assured that they will be taking a vote on this to maintain public transparency.
Thank you. Any questions or comments left? All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing this forward to us. And Senator, with that, Senate File 4038, excuse me, do you have any closing remarks?
I do not. Just thank you for your support.
You bet. With that, Senate File 4038 as amended is laid over for possible inclusion in the future omnibus bills. Thank you. All right, next we are going to hear my Senate File 5000, and I'm just going to get ready up here. Okay, Senator Gustafson is going to join us, or take over at the. There we go. I'm going to take this.
All right, thank you, Senator Kunesh. Please introduce your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, in front of you, you have Senate File 5000, which is a bill to provide school safety aid and grant programs to charter schools, public schools, intermediate districts, and cooperatives, tribal contract schools, as well as non-public school grants. There is a list of the hopefully you've received a list of the possible uses for this grant. And I think it's really vitally important, especially at this time in our state and in our country, that we recognize the tragic and troubling reality that we live in right now, as violence within schools and attacks at our schools has been very prevalent. Each one of those incidences not only claim innocent lives of our students and our staff, but it also leaves really lasting scars on our community, our families, and our educational environment. the root causes of this violence is very complex, and oftentimes dealing with issues around mental health, access to firearms, and of course societal influences. And as we all know, Minnesota has had a very troubling, tragic, violent time starting out this year, and we have a really moral prerogative to make sure that our schools are safe, no matter who is the perpetrator or who is the one that would like to cause aggression. And so this bill, along with other bills that we are going to be hosting over the end of session, combines prevention. It allows for intervention and education. But I think most of all, we have to remember of our responsibility to address the mental health issues, not only of our students, but of our staff. We want to make sure that there are opportunities for all of our students to thrive. And so with this bill, we have a number of testifiers, and it just goes to show the collective efforts that we need to do together with government, communities, and families to create that safe environment for our children. So with that, Madam Chair, I would be happy to start the discussion with our testifiers.
Thank you, Senator Kunesh. Before we go to the testifier, would you like to move SF 5000?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you. First testifier, and we will try to limit the testimony to 2 minutes, Alexandria Fitzsimmons from Senior Policy Director, Children's Defense Fund. And if Michael Paget would like to also join us at the table so that we can move straight to you when they've completed. When you're ready, state your name for the record and start your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Alexandra Fitzsimmons, and I'm the Senior Policy Director with Children's Defense Fund Minnesota. I'm here today to speak in strong support of Senate File 5000, one-time additional per pupil school safety funding and grant funding for non-public schools, which gives schools throughout Minnesota flexibility to respond to the specific safety and well-being of their students, families, and communities. This bill comes before you today while we continue to heal from the tragedy at Annunciation Catholic Church and School, where Harper and Fletcher lost their lives. 26 more children were physically hurt, and many more children were emotionally harmed. And also while our state longs for meaningful actions to keep all children safe. While lawmakers may not agree on every policy focused on school safety, there is agreement on this. Children should be and feel safe in their schools. That same commitment to safety is at the root of Children's Defense Fund. Our original logo, created more than 60 years ago, was a small boat on a wide sea with the words, "Dear Lord, be good to me, for the sea is so wide and my boat is so small." That is how childhood can feel for our children. And today, many children feel unsafe. Last week, I talked with a 4th grade teacher who told me about one of her students who became afraid at school of the large window in her classroom. The little girl knew what happened at Annunciation, and she didn't want to sit by the window anymore. And she didn't want to play 7-Up because she didn't want to put her head down and not be able to see what was happening around her. Her fear showed up as stomach aches, tears, and eventually not wanting to go to school anymore. What brought her back was connection. Her teacher and counselor reached out to her family. The school responded, and over time, the 4th grader started to feel safe again. And research shows that when children feel safe and supported, they can learn. Right now, nearly 1/4 of Minnesota students are chronically absent, and when students aren't in school, they miss the daily connections of trusted adults and supportive peers, a sense of belonging, and the opportunity for someone to notice when something is wrong and step in early. This bill provides schools with resources to not only implement the traditional school safety measures specified in Minnesota Statute 126C.44 Subdivision 4, but it also gives schools the flexibility to respond through individualized supports, building belonging, and reaching out to students who are struggling, including home visits to reconnect with children who may feel excluded. This bill also importantly includes grant funding for non-public schools, because every child deserves to feel safe. For a child, safety is not policy, it's what allows them to stay afloat. We encourage you to support this bill and include this critical school safety funding in the omnibus bill. Thank you for your service to Minnesota children.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Michael Paget, and if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please correct me and begin your testimony.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chair Kunesh and members. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. My name is Michael Padgett. I'm the Member Relations and Communications Director at the Minnesota Association of Charter Schools, representing about 170 charter public schools statewide, serving roughly 70,000 students. I want to acknowledge the tough decisions this committee has to make as a result of the state's structural deficit. Given that context, we greatly appreciate Chair Kunesh for authoring this bill and holding a hearing on it. We appreciate the effort to do something this year, as students shouldn't have to wait on school safety funding yet another year. We also hope to see this conversation continue into next year as budgets are set to include ongoing funding for school safety in chartered public schools. Chartered public schools, just like every other school, do everything they can to keep students safe. Unlike other traditional public schools, chartered public schools must take their general education funds to pay for this because charters are excluded from safe schools revenue or safety aid. This means that funding for school safety improvements currently comes directly out of the classroom. This workaround becomes increasingly more difficult as costs rise and charter public schools cannot levy to offset these increases or implement safety upgrades. We appreciate this bill, SF 5000, which ensures Safe Schools aid reaches public schools that were previously left out, including chartered public schools. From community violence and firearms concerns to SRO gaps and cybersecurity threats, the challenges in our schools are real and growing. Our schools desperately need funding to continue to improve safety in our buildings. This is a critical step forward so school leaders can do more to keep kids safe. Addressing inequity in safety funding can and should be done this year. We respectfully ask that you make this the year that charter public schools receive Safe Schools funding, and we thank you for hearing this bill and this opportunity to testify.
Thank you. If we could get Landon Fawn and Ann Weiss to the table, please. And we can start with Landon, and then our next testifier, I believe, is remote, and then we'll go to Ann Weiss. Please state your name for the record. You can begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Landon Fawn. I'm from Austin, Minnesota. I go to Pacelli Catholic Schools. And I'm here today to tell you guys that myself and students across the state of Minnesota are very concerned for our safety. And it's something I think about every day. We shouldn't be scared to learn. Our school should be a safe place where our only anxiety should be the tests we have coming up. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Senate File 5000 is the type of legislation we've been asking for a long time. And I greatly appreciate Senator Kunesh for bringing this bill forward. This bill addresses issues just like the one we saw yesterday in Wilmer, Minnesota. Those students should have been learning, connecting with their friends, but instead somebody said that they wanted to threaten students at a place of learning. And those students were taken away from the valuable education that they should have received. The peace of mind to know that we're going to be safe is something that we should expect. And Senate File 5000 is a step in the right direction to ensure that students across the state of Minnesota know that they can be safe in their classrooms, for teachers to know that they're going to be safe every day, and for parents to know that their kids are going to come home after school. For those reasons, I urge you to support this bill, and I thank you, Senator Kunesh, for bringing this forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next testifier is online, April Dressel from Duluth Edison Charter School. Begin when you're ready and state your name for the record, please.
My name is April Dressel, and I'm an 8th grader at North Star Academy. Good morning, Senate Education Finance Committee. North Star Academy has given me so many opportunities and friendships. I don't think I'd be who I am today without it. I've gained friends through things like Knowledge Bowl, ski club, and basketball, and at the same time, it's a safe space where I can get help and share my feelings. After 9 years, North Star is still an amazing school with phenomenal teachers and friends that feel like family. Keep in mind, these are only a few of the things that make North Star special. The community at North Star is a diverse place where I can learn about different cultures and perspectives through classes and extracurriculars. One thing that stuck out from the crowd in particular was Knowledge Bowl. Knowledge Bowl is an extremely underrated school activity that teaches kids about math, English, history, and the world today. Through it, I've been able to meet people that can excel my learning experience and teach me things about the world I never thought I'd know. In contrast to that, dangers in schools can take away a student's ability to think. When I was in 4th grade, I experienced my first ever lockdown, and I remember it like this. I was in art class with my friends when a choppy voice came over the intercom. Lockdown, lockdown. I watched as the teacher grabbed buckets of clay off the cabinet and used them to block the door, then pushed more things like tables and chairs into the barricade. I'd only ever experienced things like this in a drill and was always told it would never happen. I joined a group of friends under a curtain as they held a broom, praying and crying. I watched the other classes outside as they evacuated into the woods and wished I was them. I sat under that curtain and asked if I could tell my mom I loved her as I saw kids grabbing scissors after hearing the police are in the building. I didn't think silence could be so loud. All clear, the voice said, as kids stood up and cheered, a moment so surreal it stuck with me forever. The next few following months were full of stress and fear throughout the school. Every time I heard the announcement sound over the speakers, I recoiled in fear, even going as far as asking my mom to keep me home from school on the day of a drill, missing some of the learning opportunities I would have had that day. The last point I have to make is that traditional public schools get $36 per student in safe school funding, while charter public schools get $0. This story is my way of asking you to please consider helping our school be able to get safe schools funding for generations of kids so that they will never have to go through or worry about the things I experienced. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Our next testifier is Ann Weiss, and if I could have Carrie Bakken come up to the table. Ms. Weiss, you can begin your testimony. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning, members of the committee and Chair Kunesh. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Ann Weiss. I'm a former teacher, and I serve as the executive director of the Minnesota Association of Independent Schools. We represent 17 independent schools and over 10,000 students and families across our state. I am here to express our support for Senate File 5000, and in particular, to thank Chair Kunesh for including non-public schools in this important legislation. This bill reflects a principle we deeply believe in. All students are Minnesota students. Regardless of where a child attends school, their safety and well-being are a shared responsibility. We are grateful to see that reflected in this proposal. From our perspective, the bill thoughtfully recognizes the need to prioritize support for non-public schools with lower fiscal capacity. Independent and private schools vary widely in size, structure, and available resources, and this approach helps ensure that grant funding is directed to those schools with the greatest financial need. That prioritization is critical to ensuring that these resources have the greatest possible impact. We do recognize that, as with any new initiative, there are important questions to work through around funding, approval processes, implementation, and coordination. And Mays welcomes these conversations and is ready to partner with Chair Kunesh and the Department of Education to ensure that this bill is implemented in a way that is clear, efficient, and impactful. Our goal is the same as yours, to ensure that every Minnesota student, no matter their school setting, has access to safe and supportive learning environments. Thank you again for your leadership and for your commitment to all Minnesota students.
Thank you for your testimony. Carrie Bakken, and then if I could have Samuel Yigsaw come to the table. You can begin your testimony, and please state your name for the record.
My name is Carrie Bakken, and I'm the executive director of Avalon School. I want to start my testimony by thanking Chair Kunesh for bringing this bill forward. I have actually testified multiple years on the school safety funding to try to get access to this funding for charter schools. So I have been at Avalon for now almost 25 years, and we serve students in grades 6 through 12. We are located in St. Paul. We serve about 50% of our students have learning differences, and I invite all of you to come to Avalon. It is a very special place. This is a school where kids who may not have had friends before have friends. This is a school where kids are seen for who they are in totality, where families cry because that's the first time that their student has had friendships outside of school. So our sense of belonging that we create in our community is done exceptionally well. However, I believe my job is just like yours. So you have safety concerns coming to this building every single day. And I'm so grateful that you show up every day to make a difference in our state and our community. And that's how I feel every day. That's what keeps me there. I know that my personal safety sometimes is compromised, but it is my job to create a school where kids can have that extreme sense of belonging that they didn't find in other schools. I think the most important thing that we should all remember as parents, as community members, is that at a school like Avalon, we have families who have kids in the traditional district, and we have, and they're also in charters, and some may even be in private. Every single parent is looking for the best fit for their child. And I sent my kids to Minneapolis Public Schools, and they had a wonderful experience, and they're full adults now. And I can sing the praises of Minneapolis Public Schools as well. But I know Avalon needs to exist. And I'm always managing those external threats. So then you have to put cameras in, better security, alarms, and we have used general funds to do that. We have used general funds and private grants to create, and ESSER funds. And those ESSER funds created these safety opportunities that weren't available before, but those are no longer there. So the community that we have created but could be improved with building improvements, with more engagement in community-based resources. I know our after-school program was really strong and that brought kids to school, but we no longer have the funding to do that. So I'm asking you to see all of our students in the same context. You know what the research says. You know that creating, and I think that's what makes this bill so beautiful, is that it matches the research. So on the one hand, schools need to protect our schools.
Ms. Bakken, I'm so sorry to interrupt. If you could just finish up your last thoughts, we'll
Yep.
have to move on to our next testifier.
Perfect, and I just want to say thank you. It's beautifully written and includes a comprehensive approach to safety. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Yigsaw, if you could introduce yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your testimony when ready. And I'm so sorry, Ryan Renstrand could come up to the table. That would be great. Thank you.
Madam Chair and committee members, my name is Samuel Yigsaw, and I'm the Executive Director of Higher Ground Academy. We strongly support this bill to provide safety aid funding to charter school, funding that we currently do not have. At Higher Ground Academy, this funding is critically needed to hire police liaison officers. While safety is a concern throughout the school day, our greatest vulnerability occurs during student arrival and dismissal, when approximately 1,200 students are gathered outside. Staff, parents, and students have consistently expressed concerns about safety during these times. With access to this funding, we would be able to hire police liaison officers for our 2 campuses, whose presence would serve as both a deterrent to potential threats and a source of reassurance for our school community. We cannot simply reallocate existing funds to meet this need. Charter schools already face significant funding inequalities, largely because we don't have the authority to levy local taxes like traditional public schools. This places us at a disadvantage when addressing essential needs such as student safety. Our students and staff deserve to feel safe every day. I respectfully urge you to support safety aid funding to charter schools. I thank you for your support and consideration.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Now we have Mr. Renstrad, and if I could get Shannon Peterson to come to the table. You can begin. State your name for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members, for this opportunity to speak. My name is Ryan Renstrand, and I serve as the Executive Director for Lionsgate Academy, a public charter school serving approximately 400 students across the metro area. More than 95% of our students have disabilities. In my role, I take safety and security of our students and staff very seriously. Following the tragic events at Annunciation, I reevaluated the current safety measures and what more we can do to protect our community. In response, we launched a task force called Lions Safe, which brings together staff, parents, and community members to identify resources, review legislation, and pursue grants and research-based strategies to enhance school safety. We strongly support this bill as it would provide charter schools with critical safety funding that we currently do not receive at the same level as traditional public schools. At Lionsgate, this funding would be used to install protective window film on main level entrances across our 4 campuses, upgrade communication systems, expand camera coverage, and implement emergency door locking systems in classrooms, among other important improvements. It is essential that our charter schools are included in this funding. Charter schools already face broader funding inequities and significant oversight compared to traditional districts. While traditional public schools can access additional funds through levies to enhance safety, charter schools do not have that option. In conclusion, all students and staff deserve to feel safe at school. Charter school communities should not be treated differently. Minnesota is a state that values school choice, and families should never have to weigh safety as a factor when they're choosing their best educational environment for their child. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. We next have Shannon Peterson, and if Caitlin Snyder could come to the table. Ms. Peterson, state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
I'm Shannon Peterson. I'm from Lakes International Language Academy, and I'm here to urge your support for SF 5000, specifically including charter schools as eligible recipients of a safety aid grant. Charter schools are public schools, yet receive only about 70% of the total public funding available to traditional districts, including $0 in safety aid. Therefore, essential safety expenses come directly out of our limited educational funds. To give an example, after the Annunciation shooting last August and the unusual example of a shooter attacking from outside a school building, some of our elementary teachers experienced significant anxiety about the lack of window coverings on our ground floor classrooms. We had to remove our old curtains last year to meet updated fire code requirements, but we've not been able to replace them with our limited budget. The cost will be more than one teacher's salary. Still, buying curtains has become an important for peace of mind of our staff and families. In addition, we need to hire staff or open time in existing staff schedules so they have the capacity to check in and connect with vulnerable students who might be considering violence. Addressing mental health needs is also currently a balancing act. Do we eliminate the teaching positions and increase class sizes so that we can spend more of our small budget on mental health professionals or curtains? Thank you for recognizing in this bill that charter public schools need the same potentially life-saving public support that their district school neighbors can rely on. We greatly appreciate the bill and urge all senators to support it.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Next, we'll have Caitlin Snyder, and if Denise Dietrich could come to the table as well. Ms. Snyder, you can state your name for the record and begin your testimony when ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Caitlin Snyder, and I am a lobbyist with Education Minnesota, representing over 84,000 educators across the state, including a brand new unit in Fergus Falls, Minnesota that was certified over break. Our public schools, including our charter schools, must be open to all students, including the almost 20% of our students identified with special needs. They must meet federal requirements on student testing, be ADA accessible, limit access to cell phones, take attendance every day, meet READ Act professional development standards. Most importantly, they cannot discriminate against students and their families by income, racial identity, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, or physical handicap. For these reasons, I'm here today to speak in opposition to Subdivision 5 of this bill. Using public dollars to fund schools that exclude other people's children is not religious freedom. It is using public money to deepen the divisions in our communities. No one is questioning a family's right to choose a faith-based school. The question is whether taxpayers must fund institutions that turn away other people's children. Private schools are allowed to reject students based on disability, sexual orientation, or religious nonconformity. In Indiana, more than $16 million in pre-pandemic taxpayer funding went to non-public schools with explicit anti-LGBT admission policies. In Florida, a publicly funded voucher school banned LGBT children outright. These schools face no requirement to conduct financial audits or disclose how their funding was spent. Public schools serve every child. Private schools may choose their children. That is the difference, and taxpayers deserve to know it. One argument we hear assumes our private schools need to be publicly funded because our public schools aren't hitting the mark. And it's important to remember our children are not trapped by our schools. They are trapped by politicians who underfund them because they prefer to give tax breaks to the wealthy and large corporations. Our schools do not fail on their own. They are failed by legislatures that cut budgets for decades and property tax systems that concentrate resources in wealthy zip codes. As much good as Chair Kunesh and the Senate TFL has done in 23 and 24 to properly fund our schools, we are still behind where our schools were in funding in 2006. And what's more troubling is that we are moving backwards. Last year, this legislature cut hundreds of millions of dollars from funding for our schools for mental health and physical health resources and from the constitutionally required special ed services our schools must offer to Minnesota students. Licensed teachers in Minnesota are required by PELSB to affirm all students. Teaching children that every person has dignity is not indoctrination. It is the oldest lesson in every faith tradition and every democratic society. It is vital to preparing Minnesota students to live and lead in the 21st century. This is also about accountability, which we have heard a lot about this year. MDE does not have the purview to audit our private schools and the millions of dollars, I assume, with a blank appropriation this bill would send to private schools would have no accountability. Money is fungible. Without auditing, we wouldn't know if these funds are being used to make private schools safer or if public funds would end up as a donation to the Vatican.
Ms. Snyder, sorry, if you could wrap up your last thoughts. We're over on time. Thank you.
I have one last thought. Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand that these bills today are a good faith effort to better protect our students, and the good news is we can support the safety of all kids without these moral and constitutional concerns. Senator Draheim has introduced Senate File 3648, which would fund 8 positions at the Department of Public Safety's School Safety Center. These safety professionals are typically former law enforcement, and they can review safety threats at all schools, public and non-public. This avoids accountability and fungibility issues and is likely less expensive than this bill at $1 million, which would be about $1 a student. I urge the committee to explore further options. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Dietrich, and then if I could have Matt Shaver come to the table. Ms. Dietrich, please state your name for the record and begin when ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Denise Dietrich, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to testify here today. On behalf of the locally elected school board members across Minnesota, the Association of Metro School Districts, the Minnesota Association of School Administrators, and the Minnesota Association of School Business Officials, we want to express our support for the providing one-time school safety aid to Minnesota public schools. We especially appreciate 3 aspects to that particular proposal. First is the statewide per pupil distribution. This ensures that every student in every school district benefits from school safety resources. Safety needs exist in all 331 school districts, and this approach provides both fairness and predictability. Second, the flexibility for school districts. School safety is not a one-size-fits-all. Districts face different challenges from facility security to student support services, and this allows our local leaders to respond to those needs. Third, the broad definition of allowable uses. School safety goes beyond buildings. Addressing absenteeism, strengthening student connections, and providing targeted supports for all those are all parts of creating a safe learning environment. At the same time, we want to recognize this session. It includes competing priorities for one-time funding. For many districts, stabilizing the compensatory revenue remains a significant top concern given the recent changes in the compensatory formula. But in closing, for this bill, we want to extend our thanks to Chair Kunesh, and we appreciate the focus on school safety and flexibility provided in this proposal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And our final testifier, Mr. Shaver, if you could introduce yourself for the record and begin when ready.
Chair Gustafson, members of the committee, good morning. I'm Matt Shaver, Senior Policy Director at Ed Allies. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of Senate File 5000 this morning, and thank you to Chair Kunesh for your leadership in putting this bill together. Other testifiers have discussed the importance of additional resources for school safety aid this morning, so we're here to highlight the critical need to resource efforts to address chronic absenteeism, which Subdivision 6 of this bill would allow for. This language mirrors the efforts of the legislatively directed 12-district attendance pilot that are in year 2 of their work to address absenteeism across the state. We created individual handouts for each member of this committee showing absenteeism data for 3 years pre-pandemic, 3 years post-pandemic of school districts in their local community. I hope you'll take a look. We printed it on cardstock so you know we're serious. The most recent year we have statewide data on chronic absenteeism is not for this school year or last school year. It's for 2023-2024. In that year, 1 in 4 Minnesota students were chronically absent, which was essentially the same rate as the previous school year. So there were 191,321 chronically absent students statewide who missed at least 3 million combined days of school. And at 165 days, Minnesota already has one of the shortest school years by days of any state in the country. We have too many kids missing too many of those precious opportunities to learn to read, do math, make friends, find their purpose and passions. And so anything we want school to be for students can't be if they're not consistently showing up. And if you look at our statewide data, as well as your local data, too many kids who benefit the most from what school has to offer are missing the most amount of time right now. This committee has all 4 Senate appointees to the Student Attendance and Truancy Legislative Study Group that met in the summer and fall of 2024. Senators Kroon, Farnsworth, Swedzinski, and Kunesh are all keenly aware of the data that you have in front of you and the multifaceted causes for student absences, as well as the urgency behind not letting the post-pandemic absenteeism data become our state's new normal. It's a statewide problem that will need ongoing focus, comprehensive action, and resources, which is what Senate File 5000 proposes to fund. As co-chair of this attendance study group, it's no surprise Senator Kunesh continues to work to find ways to support schools to improve attendance rates. In general, the safest place for a school-age child to be during the school day is in school. So it follows that in conversations around student safety, to recognize the connection between school safety and absenteeism, and find ways to prioritize resources to improve both, as Senator Kunesh has done with Senate File 5000. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of the bill today. Thank you all for your public service to our state.
Thank you, Mr. Shaver, and thank you for the cards. I didn't realize they were individualized. I thought I was just being called out with Senator Gustafson's absenteeism cheat sheet, so thank you. Members, questions? Senator Holmstrom, I think you were first, and Senator Westland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Kunesh, I applaud you in this legislation. It is a balanced approach that I've got to say, I'm really happy to see that it includes all students in Minnesota. I think that is great. I want to comment first on the fact that once again, we had Education Minnesota come before this body and look at this wonderful bill that's interested in saving the lives of children and making all children in Minnesota safer. And of course, they did not come to support, they came to oppose the bill because they have no interest in safety for our students in the state. In fact, they're really angry that we would include non-public students. They're really angry that we would include tribal contract students. And I don't understand why we are once again having this conversation that somehow some children are not worthy of protection in this state, but the children that their union members serve are. This is not an organization that this committee should continue to take seriously. This is not an organization that anybody in the state should take seriously, and it certainly isn't an organization that is interested at all in the welfare of the students of this state. Now, I'll move on from that.
Madam Chair.
Senator Kunesh.
As the chair of this committee, I would just like to remind members of the tone and the rhetoric that we use in accusatory language, and so I would ask that you find a finer way to make your statements without the accusatory language that you are using. Thank you.
Senator Holmstrom.
I don't find that to be well-founded. Education Minnesota is a disgusting organization. I'll continue to say it.
Senator Holmstrom, if we could just keep it to the policy and the bill. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, to this point, I want to address that this bill is allowing for per pupil grants to public schools, charter schools, tribal contract schools, but for some reason the non-public schools are an applied grant that schools have to apply for it. There's no guarantee that they'll receive any funds. Annunciation was a tragedy, and it was referenced by many of the testifiers today. For those who might not know, it is a private, non-public school. We would like to make sure that schools like Annunciation could receive this funding, and that's been one of my priorities coming into this session, is that all students of Minnesota should be prioritized when we're talking about safety education funding. So with that, I've requested council to draft language to include the non-public schools in a per pupil formula instead of a grant formula. I'm wondering if they might be able to speak to that.
Council.
Madam Chair and members, the language for Senator Holmstrom's amendment would be page 2, delete lines 4 to 8, and insert subdivision 5 would be non-public school aid, and it would read, for fiscal year 2027 only, school safety aid for a non-public school equals blank dollar amount times the enrollment of the school. And then on further down on page 2, line 22, you would delete the paragraph A, and then page 2, delete lines 24 to 27, which would then delete the whole paragraph B.
Thank you. Senator Holmstrom.
Thank you, Council, for getting that drafted. So again, the idea here is that we want to make sure that all students in Minnesota are are equally supported in this, and I would like to point out that the READ Act, the other statutory requirements that public schools have to implement that Education Minnesota referenced in their attack of Subdivision 5 also do not apply to Subdivision 4. Tribal contract schools are not required to follow those subdivisions. They're not public schools, and they are receiving per pupil funding. So if we're going to be giving it to some non-public schools, we should be giving it to all non-public schools. Again, let's prioritize all children in Minnesota, not just those that members of this body for some reason want to prioritize. Thank you.
Senator Kunesh.
I'd like to see the amendment, please.
Stand by. Sorry, Senator Kunesh, it was an oral amendment.
Oh.
Would you like council to walk you through it one more time?
Yes, please.
Okay, council.
Yes, Madam Chair and members, go to the bill, page 2, delete lines 4 through 8, which is subdivision 5, and insert new subdivision 5, non-public school aid. Then it would read, for fiscal year 2027 only, school safety aid for a non-public school equals blank dollars times the enrollment of the school. And then conforming amendments down below, page 2, line 22, would delete the paragraph A, and then page 2, delete lines 24 to 27.
Senator Kunesh, whenever you're ready.
Sure. So I think we need to have a little clarification on some of these things. So our tribal contract schools, we have 4 of them in Minnesota, 4 BIE schools. And they are bulk of and they're public schools. They're public schools. If they do not have, they can welcome and they enroll non-Native kids to these schools. So they're basically public schools. They're mostly funded by the federal government, as the federal government made that promise. So with that understanding that those are public schools, just like the other ones, our charter schools, our cooperatives, our intermediates, I would rather keep those in there. The funding that those schools get do not go through the school district. So those are direct appropriations. The school district is not set up to fund dollars through the district the way that they do with non-public schools. Non-public schools, when we appropriate dollars for transportation, any of the other aids, those dollars go through the school district. And so it's kind of like, it's not apples to apples, it's apples to oranges. And so I think it would be really important that we keep that distinction. And one of the reasons that we have it set up as for non-public school grants, if you notice, we have the commissioner must prioritize grant awards to non-public schools with lower fiscal capacity. And that, again, does not calculate with tribal schools. And the reason that we did that is that we had heard from entities that often schools that have more money have more resources at their fingertips. So they would be able to have those grant writers or lawyers in the wealthier non-public schools be able to access those. We want to make sure it's the schools that need it the most are going to get that. I think if we look at and I'm not against some of the big schools, the wealthier schools getting those dollars, but we want to make sure that the schools that struggle the most are able to get those dollars. So with that, members, I don't think I will accept this amendment.
Thank you, Senator Kunesh. Also, Senator Holmstrom, I assume you want to move this amendment? We need to formally do that. So moved. And then Senator May Quaid.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to orally amend the oral amendment. Ms. Lewis, could you just go over the oral amendment one more time so I can give you the right place that I would like to do this?
Ms. Lewis.
Yes, Madam Chair and members, page 2, delete lines 4 to 8, insert subdivision 5, non-public school aid, and then for fiscal year 2027 only, school safety aid for a non-public school equals blank dollar amount times the enrollment of the school.
Senator May Quaid.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So it would, in that oral amendment, it would be school safety aid for a non-public school. This would be my oral amendment that abides by or complies with 363A.02 and then continue on.
So,
Read that again.
Ms. Lewis.
Make sure I got the right section. Okay.
Yes, it would be 363A.02.
Senator May Quaid, would you either, or perhaps Mr. Arneson or Ms. Lewis, explain to us what 363A.02 is?
Yeah, sorry, we were all trying to
Sure.
find the statute. Senator May Quaid.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Kunesh, it's the Minnesota Human Rights Act.
Pardon me?
The Minnesota Human Rights Act.
Okay.
It just establishes freedom from discrimination on the basis of race, sex, disability, status of public assistance, sexual orientation, familial status, national origin, et cetera.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, we have a long list. I just want to clarify, everyone speaking on this list is interested in speaking to the amendment. If not, we'll move on, but it looks like everyone is. We have Senator Westland first. Senator Westland.
Hold on. I'm actually asking sort of the equivalent of a point of order here. I think these amendments are a little complicated, and I think it's challenging to do these as oral amendments. And my request is that we get written amendments. Because although we've gone over this, unfortunately, staff has had to read it multiple times now. I think it would be helpful for us to have a piece of paper in front of us to see exactly what's being amended.
Senator Holmstrom, it's your amendment.
This amendment's actually very simple. It is just inserting the language of subdivision 4 into subdivision 5. There was some more legalese explained to that in making the switches, but it's all it's doing is saying that what's true for 4 is true for non-public schools. And to Senator May Quaid's point, requiring that non-public schools follow 363A.02 is not a requirement that we're putting on tribal contract schools. So if Senator May Quaid would like to make that same amendment into subdivision 4, we can have a conversation about it. But if not, I don't think that's in good faith, even in the smallest amount.
Thank you, Senator Holmstrom. I think what we're going to do is take a brief recess so we can print the amendment, and everybody hang tight for just a minute or two. All right, we have our paper copies. Senator Holmstrom, would you like to withdraw your oral amendment and present your written amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I will withdraw the oral amendment and offer the A1 amendment.
Senator Holmstrom offers the A1 amendment. You can, if you'd like to speak to the amendment, I think it's also been discussed. We could probably go to the vote as soon as you're done, unless members have more comments.
No, I think we have done a great job. The one thing I will reference here is that the amendment actually solves the problem that the author referenced, which is the grant writing problem and how wealthy non-public schools might have a benefit over that, in the fact that this will remove grant applications altogether, not requiring any additional costs to receive the funding. So that is actually solved by this amendment, but I appreciate it being brought up. Thank you.
Senator Westland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I'd request a roll call. I think you wanted one. First of all, I do agree with the underlying bill and the idea that we want to try to provide funding for all of our students, regardless of what school they are in. I unfortunately do not agree with the amendment and will be voting no on it, because I do believe that there are certain schools who have very, very, very large endowments, and we don't want them sucking up all the money that should be going to our smaller non-public schools. And I think that the grant program that's being set up and the opportunity for schools to apply for them is the appropriate way to fund this. And so I am going to encourage a no vote on this. I will say, however, I was also a little disappointed with the position taken by Education Minnesota when it comes to security and safety for our kids. I think that that is a special responsibility that we carry, and I think that this bill threads the underlying bill threads the needle the way that we should, to make sure that we are providing security and safety funding for our non-public schools as well. But the wealthy schools should not be first in line to get that money.
Members, anyone else to the amendment? Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'll be supporting this amendment. And I think one of the main reasons why, when we look in the appropriation section, the fact that the non-public school appropriation is separate means on paper we're saying we're going to include non-publics in this, but the amount could be so minimal that they're actually getting nothing. So I think by incorporating all of the schools together, as we heard many testifiers say, all kids in Minnesota deserve to have safety dollars sent to their schools. And if we're going to talk about the idea, well, there are some schools that have a lot of money, well, guess what? In our public school realm, there are some schools that come from property wealthy areas that pass operating referendums that have a whole lot more money than a lot of other school districts do. And I don't see that we're dealing with that in this bill. They're all getting an equal amount. Are we going to be serious about all students in Minnesota should be treated equally in our schools for safety, or aren't we? That's the question in front of us. The amendment gets us to that point. I would suggest a yes vote.
Senator Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank Senator Kunesh for bringing this bill, genuinely, because after the shooting in September and shootings that we've seen around the country and the violence, I thought this was going to be one of the first things that we would tackle. And so I'm glad that we are working on this, and I will be supporting the amendment as well. I do appreciate that, at the very least in the original iteration of this, that there was some money for all students. And I'm not going to reiterate what Senator Rarick said, but for all of the reasons that he said, I think we should support this. I just want to talk about one thing when we're talking about endowments that Senator Westland was talking about. We give $1.5 billion every 2 years to the University of Minnesota, and they have a $6.5 billion endowment. So if we're going to not fund huge organizations that have huge endowments, maybe we need to look top to bottom. Who are we not going to fund because of endowments? if we're going to talk about school safety, we need to say every kid in Minnesota deserves to be safe, regardless of what type of endowment they have. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Members, Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Madam Chair, actually, when we're talking about equity in education funding, one of the things that we often say among our school districts, which share a predicament, is every student matters regardless of their zip code. And I think that same philosophy also applies to student safety, that every student deserves safety regardless of their zip code. One of the things that was striking to me as I was listening to the testifiers for the bill was, I think it was unanimous or near unanimous, of every other testifier being in support. All the different stakeholders, except one, Education Minnesota. So once again, they are the outlier opposing safety for every student for their own selfish purposes. And so I agree with Senator Holmstrom's comments. I agree with the concerns that Senator Westland expressed, that we should have this priority on all students regardless of zip code. And it's striking that Education Minnesota, once again, has an opposing viewpoint that is in the best interest of our children. I support the amendment. Thank you.
Senator Cruin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate this bill. I think safe school funding for every student in Minnesota should be among our top priorities this session. I fully support the bill, and I'm going to support the bill regardless of whether this amendment passes. But if we really mean every student in Minnesota should feel safe in their schools, if we truly mean that, then this amendment should pass. School safety should be the one issue where everybody agrees that no matter where your kid goes to school or where the child goes to school, whether it's traditional public school, charter school, non-public school, safe school funding should be allocated on a per pupil basis across the board, if we really mean that. So this is an opportunity to make sure that all students are treated fairly. The way that the underlying bill is drafted, the amount that non-public schools would get for safe school funding is a separate category with a blank appropriation right now, and it could very well be meaningless for the vast majority of non-public schools out there. I fully support, I'm glad that charter schools are getting added to safe school funding finally, long overdue. I'm glad to see that. And like I said, I'll support the bill either way, but I fully support this amendment to make sure that all of our students are eligible for this safe school funding on a per pupil basis. And I think that's one thing that all Minnesotans can agree on.
All right, members, any other comments? Okay, I'm going to go to Senator Kunesh, and then since it's your amendment, Senator Holmstrom, you'll get the final word. Senator Kunesh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I would ask you not to vote for this amendment. I recognize, having gone to parochial schools myself, sent my kids to parochial schools, my grandkids go to parochial preschools. I recognize the value of these schools in our communities and in our state. But as legislators, we also have a legislative duty to follow our Constitution that says we put public schools first. And for those reasons, and for reasons that I think were very clear, why I would not want to muddy the tribal schools with non-public schools, I would ask that you vote no on this amendment.
Thank you, Senator Kunesh. Senator Holmstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'd like to reiterate once again, I genuinely believe that Senator Kunesh's bill is brought in good faith, and I really appreciate the addition of charter schools. I appreciate the inclusion of non-public schools. This amendment is just trying to equalize that. It certainly isn't putting non-public students ahead of public schools. We're trying to put them on an equal footing, nobody ahead of the other. I want to address one point, which is the endowments. There are 633 private schools in Minnesota. Less than 30 of them have notable endowments, which means less than 5% of these schools. And my money says that the appropriation that is going to go into Section B of this will not meet the needs of the 95% and will come nowhere near approaching an equal distribution of that non-pupil aid. So I ask you to really consider a lot of the conversations we've had in this legislature. We hear about enunciation nearly daily, and it is unfortunately often used as a political cudgel. I'm asking you to look past partisan lines and recognize that what this amendment is trying to do is to serve the students who were affected that day, who is trying to offer them some level of guaranteed funding for their protection in school. These are the students who lived it, whose names you all echo every single week. I'm asking you to include those students in this bill. That is not a crazy or an ask that goes too far. It is the most humane ask I will make this session, and I would hope that you can see through your partisan lines to humanity, look past the wants of Education Minnesota, and support this amendment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. A roll call was requested. We'll do roll call now. Ms. Yeager will take the roll call on the A1 amendment.
Chair Kunesh.
No.
Vice Chair Gustafson.
No.
Senator Rarick.
Yes.
Senator Clark.
No.
Senator Swedzinski.
Nope.
Senator Farnsworth.
Yes.
Senator Holmstrom.
Yes.
Senator Kroon.
Yes.
Senator Lang.
Aye.
Senator Lucero.
Yes.
Senator Mayquaid.
No.
Senator Umer Verbatim.
No.
Senator Westland.
No.
The vote is 6-7. The amendment fails. To the underlying bill, members, any other further comments, questions? Senator Swedzinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I have three things on my mind. And one, about 40 years ago, I got my first teaching job. And my dad never graduated from high school, went and fought in Korea, and was a proud union member his entire career. And when I called him to tell him I got a teaching job, and I was all excited, and I thought he was going to ask me about where it is, or what are you going to be teaching, or something like that. His only comment to me was, "You'll belong to a union, right?" And I said, "Yes, I will." And I think it's probably among my crowning things I'm proudest of is for over 33 years, I was a proud member of Education Minnesota and the hard work that they do for our educators and for our 85,000 teachers and our million students in the state of Minnesota. In their eyes, it comes first. And secondly, the second thing I'd like to say today is, and Senator Kunesh alluded to this in her remarks a minute ago, or a few minutes ago. And I agonize over this, maybe more than any single issue before us. And Senator Kunesh knows probably right now what I'm about to say. And because I agree, I want kids to be safe. I want every child in this state to be free from fear. And yet, the Minnesota State Constitution is a document, and it's real, and it says, the stability of a Republican form of government dependent mainly upon the intelligence of the people. It is the duty of the legislature to create a general and uniform system of public schools. Public schools. And I think that's what Education Minnesota believes, as do I. And Section 2, and this is to the core of the debate today, in no case shall any public money be appropriated or used for the support of schools wherein the distinctive doctrines, creeds, or tenets of any particular Christian or other religious sect is promulgated or taught. These are not just words in the cloud somewhere. These are words enshrined in our Minnesota State Constitution that we have a duty, and we all took a constitutional oath to uphold that duty. We all of us with a certificate. We all took that oath, and so it's not an idle oath. And yet again and again and again, from the bottom of my heart, I too want every student safe. So what's this balance, and how do we accomplish that? And I applaud Senator Kunesh's attempt today to achieve that balance, that every kid feels safe, and yet at the same time we can uphold our constitutional duties and obligations. And so I'm struggling, I really am, but ultimately, as Senator Kunesh knows, every student deserves to be safe. And on this 250th, you were waiting for this, on this 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, another document I hold dear, and I'm surprised, quite frankly, we've gone this long on a school safety debate without hearing the words the Second Amendment. So, but the Declaration of Independence on this semi-quincentennial celebration coming up in a matter of months, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And to secure those rights, governments are instituted among men. That's why we have a government, to make sure that every child in this state, and that's what, again, what I agonize over, every kid deserves to be safe. They deserve, they have a God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when they're going to school fearful of what may happen, we're not being true to our ideals. And again, Senator Kunesh, thank you for making my brain go all over the place this morning. But ultimately, I think back to that a kid after Parkland. I went to a high school in my district, and I said, what are you guys thinking? And this girl, I'll never forget, she goes, whenever we have an assembly, a school assembly, a point of pride and joy for every student to go to their school assembly and chant and cheer their mascot, she told me she looks at all the exits. And in case there's an active shooter, which exit will be the closest and quickest out of the assembly. I don't know. All I know is thank you for the two students that testified today. And not to be disrespectful to the adults that testified, but boy, when we hear from those kids and they talk about what it's like to be a student today, maybe some of us need to get back, go back in time and sit in their shoes for a moment or two and be part of an active shooter or a drill. And so, again, colleagues, appreciate all your comments today on both sides of the aisle, and it's truly been one of the most pleasurable hearings I've had in my time here in the Senate. So thank you again, Senator Kunesh, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Senator Mayquaid.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator Kunesh, for bringing this bill. You know, I did a town hall in my district in the fall, and it was 200 students from the high school that I graduated from, and it was a whole town hall about student safety. And there were a lot of questions about what are leaders doing, what is the school district doing, and then at the end, the students all lined up and they asked really specific questions. And so during our forum, we talked about school safety, and we talked about all the, you know, things that are in place that adults put in place to make sure students are safe. And there was a student who got up and she said, I really appreciate like the run, hide, fight, you know, framework. It's super helpful. But what I do if somebody is like standing right in front of me with a gun and it's like right in front of my face, like what am I supposed to do then? And it was just this moment of I was sitting on the stage of the high school that I went to, and like the last time I'd been on that stage was when I was a senior for my like senior choir concert, and I'm sitting here listening to like the next generation of graduates from my high school say, so what do I do if there's a gun in my face in my school? And I just, it sticks with me in a way that just, it's harrowing to hear a young person, she's young, ask a question like that. And we had a forum in my church where the Annunciation parents came, and they just shared the story of what that day was like. And it reminds me over and over and over again that we need to take a multi-pronged approach. Your bill is a hugely important prong of that approach, but we have to do the other things too. Children are afraid in schools that they're going to get shot, and that is not something that exists for children in any other country. It's just ours. And we as the adults, as the leaders, we have to do something about that. They're begging us to do something about that. And we all have the beautiful benefit of having been raised, not experiencing our developing brains going through lockdown drills on a regular basis. 5- and 6-year-olds do that now. That's not something any of us up here ever experienced. And so we have to hear the pleas of the parents and of the students to take this multi-pronged approach to make sure that our students are safe, but the rest of us are safe too. Gun violence is a problem in our churches, it's a problem in our synagogues, it's a problem in our malls and our movie theaters, it's a problem in our schools, and it's a problem in our streets. We need to address gun violence, and there's no amount of hardening that is going to keep every kid safe. What keeps kids safe is keeping weapons of war out of the hands of people. And so I really, really am grateful to you for at least moving this part, and there are other parts moving as well that I hope can be part of a multi-pronged, comprehensive package to keep our kids and Minnesotans safe. So thank you, Senator Kunesh.
Thank you. Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the things that Senator McQuaid just mentioned, we have threats to our schools, threats in our malls, threats in our streets, et cetera. And what do all of these venues have in common? A hardening of hearts. A hardening of hearts and a callous disregard for the value of life. That is what these institutions have in common, and the threat that is caused when society devalues life. And when evil actors that purpose themselves to harm others are out there and are not dealt with and are not arrested and not prosecuted and not put behind bars, it's a threat to the safety of all of us, our children, adults, across the board. One of the things that was mentioned a few minutes ago was the citation of the Minnesota Constitution. So I'd like to further remind members here, the preamble to the Minnesota Constitution reads, "We, the people of the state of Minnesota, grateful to God for our civil and religious liberty." The Section 1 of Article 1 states, "Government is instituted for the security, benefit, and protection of the people." The purpose of government is to secure the rights and to secure people against these threats. And what is so shocking in our modern day, and would be so incredibly shocking to the founders of our state, to the authors of this Constitution, would be the reality of the open hostility that the Democrat Party and Education Minnesota has to faith-based organizations, institutions, to religious-based schools. And the comments and some of the amendments that were potentially proposed is a furtherance of that just outright hostility. So while we can read certain parts of the Constitution, we have to recall the reality of why government exists. It's to protect religious liberty, and it's to protect the safety and security of all people, regardless of your faith, regardless of what school children may or may not attend. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Lucero. Just a reminder, private schools are covered in the bill, so I just want to clarify that. I agree with some of what you said, but I wanted to point out that not all of it was maybe on point. Senator Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, before I ask my question, I'm wondering, what is the path? Is this going to be laid over, or are we looking at moving this to general orders? Can somebody laid over? Okay. Okay. So Senator Kunesh, I'm just wondering, on page 2, subdivision 6, section 2, it talks about absenteeism. I'm just wondering, this is a school safety program. Why are we including absenteeism. I know that's important, and I was on the subcommittee, but I'm just wondering why that's included in this bill.
Senator Kunesh?
Thank you. I think that I know that we included absentee into this bill because it is definitely a consequence of students not feeling safe in their schools. And as we go and we move forward in addressing the issue around absenteeism, I think we are going to have to face the reality of the world that we live in. The fact that many kids, well, if you think about since January, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids that did not feel comfortable coming to school because of the violence that was happening on the school grounds, in their communities, and the fear of either being abducted themselves or seeing people out on the streets with covering on their face, carrying automatic weapons, unidentifiable, circling their schools, circling their communities. That certainly led to the uptick in absenteeism, I know in my district specifically, and I'm sure many of yours as well. And so I recognize that as we hopefully never have to experience something like that, the effects of absenteeism and the effects of that kind of violence in our community is current and probably a long-lasting characteristic of what we're going to have to deal with when we look at absenteeism. And so if there are ways to use those dollars to address absenteeism, whether through counseling, support within the community, other ways to address it, I think that absenteeism is definitely a part of all of this.
Senator Farnsworth?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess my concern with including that, I don't know, what the final numbers would be for the blank appropriation, but we heard quite a bit today about, maybe schools that have huge endowments that don't need the money, and are we going to send them money, and other schools that need the money wouldn't have access to the funds. And when you brought it up to include absenteeism, I understand that it's a problem and it's something that we need to work on. But when we have a school safety bill, I think it should be specific to school safety and not rope in absenteeism. And what I'm getting at is, let's say you have a school district that just built a brand new building, and they have all the cameras and they have, all the protective glass and the curtains and the, the shaded windows so that they are as safe as they can possibly be. But they're going to get school safety money even though they don't have to make any changes to their building. And so then they can say, well, okay, we're not going to necessarily use this for school safety. We're going to use this for absenteeism. And it just seems to me that having that section dilutes the purpose of the bill. Where I was talking to, I don't remember who, somebody from Minneapolis Public Schools, and somewhere around over 50% of their buildings are over 50 years old. And so for those really old buildings, and of course my school district has a lot of really old buildings, they could use school safety money a lot more than somebody with a brand new school. And so, as I said, my concern is that this paragraph is going to dilute it so that schools that don't necessarily need as much are going to be getting it, and they'll just be like, well, okay, we have this flexibility, which flexibility is great. We've been begging for flexibility for the last 3 years. But specific to school safety, I think this is, we're moving in the right direction, but I would like to see this section probably eliminated just so that it's only specific to school safety. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. As I said, this is a move in the right direction. I'm glad that we're looking at this, and it's not quite ready, I don't think, but at least it's a move in the right direction. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Holmstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A member just brought up the Constitution, and I appreciate that being spoken about, and I would like to appreciate that that member brought up Article 8, Section 2, the prohibition. But I'd like to point out that Minnesota courts have consistently ruled that money can go in some instances. In fact, colleges, just private Christian colleges, just sued and won a PSEO case. They were citing the Minnesota Human Rights Act, saying that they couldn't receive PSEO students in dollars, but in fact, when money is appropriated for the student, it is there to benefit the student and not the institution. That was the ruling of the court. So I don't know if that member wanted to make an amendment to remove Section 5, because it seems like that's the argument they were making. I didn't hear them make that amendment. I certainly wouldn't, because I don't think that the Constitution prohibits that. So if we're going to be honest, I just ask that we be intellectually honest around the entire debate. I am, I guess, shocked once again that another member chose minutes after voting against these students to use them in an argument against guns. And yet another member brought up that there are students in this room who testified for this bill, who testified that their school deserves to be safe. Well, one of those students was from a private, non-public Catholic school. That member voted against that student today. That member then spoke and used the Constitution as a cudgel against that student. And I would like to just say, there are members here that do support you. We would sure like to include and make sure that you're treated equally. This bill doesn't do that. I don't have faith that this appropriation will do that. But out of the small amount of faith that still exists in my heart, I'll be voting yes on this, because I'm hoping that some of this is going to be done in good faith. Thank you.
Senator Cruen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you for bringing this bill. I fully support safe school funding, additional safe school funding, and extending it to charter schools and non-public schools. This should be among our top priorities this legislative session. So I will be supporting this bill. Having said that, I don't think the bill is in the shape it needs to be. I think, unfortunately, partisan politics just can't help itself from creeping into even bills that are designed to keep our kids safe with safe school funding. Absenteeism is an important issue, but it should not be part of the school safety bill. That should be specific to school safety and safe school funding. As Senator Farnsworth said, including that here dilutes the purpose of the bill. We have finite resources, we all know that, and all of the funds here should be going to keeping our kids safe at school. And then as far as the debate about non-publics, I'm glad that non-publics are included in this, because when I'm out there, everybody that I've talked to agrees that it shouldn't matter where a student goes to school, that the safe school funding should be used for them. They should be eligible for the safe school funding. And yes, non-publics are in here. We'll just have to wait and see what kind of appropriation this grant program gets under the bill. My preference would be to treat all schools and all students the same. I think that's what Minnesotans expect. I think that's how this bill should be drafted. We shouldn't carve out a special grant program for MDE that's pretty vague with an unknown amount. Well, obviously we'll know that amount before we vote on the final passage of this bill. And my hope is that we can set partisan politics aside and make sure that that number is sufficient to cover the vast majority of our non-public schools. I think that's what Minnesotans expect, and I'm going to hope that partisanship doesn't rule the day there, and that number is healthy enough to make sure that all of our students are eligible for this funding. You know, the state constitution was brought up, Senator Swedzinski. I appreciate that. You did accurately quote the Constitution, but we all know that it's not that simple. I mean, for decades, public funds have been used for certain situations with non-public schools. The courts have ruled on this many times, going all the way back to 1970. The Minnesota Supreme Court ruled that transportation, funding for non-publics for transportation was constitutional. It said that authorizing the use of public funds to transport students to sectarian schools served a legitimate secular purpose in promoting the safety and welfare of those students. And of course, we have other funds, public funds that we use for non-public schools, including counseling and special ed and some other things. And so we shouldn't be using the Constitution as a reason why safe school funding shouldn't be extended to non-public schools. Because if you really believe that, you'd be voting no on this bill, because it does have a grant to non-public schools. So we don't really believe that, unless you want to vote no on this bill, and I trust you're not going to do that. So let's not use the Constitution to say that students in non-public schools should be treated differently. That's not a good argument. I can't think, the Supreme Court went on to say that the statute that they were analyzing was a safety measure that entitled school children attending any schools to the same rights and privileges relating to transportation in that case, and that any benefit to the sectarian schools would be purely incidental. And if that's true for transportation, that is certainly true for safe school funding and keeping kids safe in school. So I don't think that the Constitution prohibits safe school funding to non-public schools at all. I think that case, that's been settled by the Minnesota Supreme Court, and I'm confident that it would be upheld in this case, whether it's through a grant program or whether it's through per pupil funding. I'm confident that it would be upheld by the courts. And I hope by the time that this bill gets to final passage, that all of our students are treated the same with safe school funding, that regardless of which school your kid goes to, they will be eligible for safe school funding. Thank you.
Senator Swedzinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was trying to illustrate the struggle in my head between the Declaration of Independence and the Minnesota State Constitution, and I will be supporting Senator Kunesh's bill. But thank you, Senator Kruen, for those comments.
Senator Westland.
I'll be brief. Thank you, Senator Kunesh, for bringing this bill. As noted earlier, I do appreciate the fact that we are providing a mechanism and an opportunity for non-public schools to apply for and receive security grants, and I think that's very important. And the only other observation I'm going to make is this. We get our red jerseys on and our blue jerseys on, and one of the most participated in sports around here is assuming worst intentions of each other and reading each other's minds and imputing motives and all kinds of things. And I will be the first to admit I'm guilty of that too. When we sit here and we talk about empathy and we talk about doing the right thing, and we talk about, we've had conversations here about hardening of hearts and social media and so on, I would just say that I think all of us need to check ourselves and how we are operating and how we are functioning here together with one another, and occasionally taking off the red and blue jerseys and having real conversations with each other to get to know each other a little bit better, because nobody here can make an assumption about how I feel about faith-based institutions, for example. I am a person of faith. I'm a person of deep faith. It's different than your faith. We can do better. I will say also as a closing comment, I got off of Twitter a few years ago because reading some of the things some of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle said made it very difficult for me to approach people with respect. And I've seen what people have put out on social media. I've seen how we take shots at each other. And again, I am not innocent of this, but I'm trying to do better, and I would encourage my colleagues to try to do better. That instead of assuming you know what somebody thinks because they have a D or an R after their name, that we start looking at what we can do to do our jobs better and to set better examples for the people we work with and the people outside of this institution. Empathy starts here, and it starts with me. And that's all I have to say. I'm voting yes on this bill. It's a good bill. Thank you.
Seeing no other comments, we'll go to Senator Kunesh for final thoughts.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for this really good discussion. I think we all learned a lot about each other and our feelings around how we address the urgent need of safety in our schools. I can assure you that this bill was created with the best of intentions, with wanting to address the sadness of what we all are experiencing, and remembering that, like, the highest reason for death in our schools, in this country, for students, are shooters at schools. And there's something in our community, in our country, that is sick, it's twisted, it's really super, super unfortunate. Access to guns is, I think, probably the biggest reason that any of these happen, because if there was not access to these guns and the velocity of these guns, we wouldn't probably be having these terrible, horrible deaths. And somehow we have to address that here. You know, as a teacher for 25 years, I racked my brain, like, what can we do to keep our schools safe? What can we do to prevent any more deaths of staff and students? And it isn't an easy answer, which is why attendance and addressing the issue of attendance and why kids aren't coming to school, whether they're having mental health issues, whether they're afraid to come to school because of what's been happening, if it's something within the family. Those dollars, if we are able to allocate them to all the schools, it's really up to the school to decide, because my school is very different than your school, Senator Holstrom or Senator Lucero or Senator Swedzinski or any of you. And the way, you know, we're always saying, or they're always asking for that flexibility. We know our district's the best. We know our community's the best. And so when we went through the purposes and the activities that could be used, we tried to think of everything that might possibly help these dollars to do the very best for our communities. This was not written in a partisan way. It was not written under the influence of any lobbyists or union. I too was a proud member of Education Minnesota for 25 years, and I know the good that they do for our students and our staff and our communities. And so bringing all of that into this is really sort of existential, because at the end of the day, we just want to give some support to our schools to help them be safe. I was at that school where they had to take down the curtains, and now there's these huge windows from floor to ceiling that are wide open. I was nervous going into that room, and I recognized that they didn't have the funding to do that. And I recognized they didn't have the endowment or, you know, like religious, like the Archdiocese or other organizations that could help them raise those dollars. And so with all of that, this is a really good bill. It is a well thought out bill. I think it is fair. I think it is balanced. And I would ask every one of you to support it.
Thank you, Senator Kunesh. Just one moment. Senator Kunesh, I may have misstated it earlier that it'd be laid over. I believe that there is a path forward to go to finance with your approval.
That would be fine.
Okay, I'll move that SF 5000 be recommended to pass and re-refer to the Committee on Finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Bill passes. And I will hand it back over to you, Senator Kunesh, for a few committee announcements.
Thanks, everyone, for being here today. Tomorrow, we will hear Senate File 3969, Senate File 3625, and a presentation on the governor's proposal. If you wish to sign up for a testimony on the governor's proposal, please send notice to our committee and Administrator Emma Zelmer by noon today. It is 10:31, and we are adjourned.